what we're here to talk about is documenting the journey. Like, is there any way that you've documented your journey from starting at that place where you felt lost, you didn't know what to do, up until this point? Is there any like documentation for you to look back and say, right, like I've came a long way from where I first started, as such?
What I tend to do a lot of the time, I take snaps.
I was just about to say that. When it comes to the podcast, whenever I post a clip, I'm looking and I'm just, the first thing on my mind is raw, like man's really documenting the growth. Like, even little things like, on the first episode, I didn't have no facial hair.
I was thinking about that the other day, Welcome back to another episode of the Energizer Podcast, a podcast that leaves you charged up
all the way.
Today you're here with your boy Tay,
and you know how it is, the man himself, Ty.
And we're with the guy today that's been mentioned on the podcast how many times?
Enough times, I can't lie. You've been like, damn, like,
we've made it.
They really have a picture of what you look like.
That's what I say, we made it happen. We've got my boy Cozart here, man. What's happening, man? Bro? You good?
I'm good, man. How are you lot?
I'm all good, man. I'm
good still. Introduce yourself, man, for those who don't know, because we've been kind of dropping in what he does already, but I can't. I would do myself. I do you in justice by not letting you speak and do your thing. So who are you, man?
Cool. For those that don't know me, my name is Aaron, professionally known as Aaron David, or known as Cozart. I'm a professional. I'm a personal development mentor, and blogger. And drone operator,
yeah, big drone operator. If you see the drones in the sky, just know that's my boy Cozart. Do you get me?
Let's tap into that quickly. What is a drone operator? Because I didn't even know myself, bro.
Do you know what it is? There's a difference between a drone operator and a drone pilot, but I can't remember the actual difference. But overall, what you are doing is you're flying a drone in the air. You could be shooting for videography purposes. They have drones in the army. Where else do they have drones? It's mainly videography, but that's what I do.
And I remember you was doing like a course or a test to be a drone operator, I swear. Something along those lines.
It's a theory test.
Theory test.
Yeah.
So do you need to do that to be able to fly the drones?
Yeah, because what you need is you need a operator ID and you need a flyer ID. So in case police stop you, you at least need those two things before anything else. If you don't have those two things, then you're gonna get in trouble.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a thing like that.
They can take your drone. You can get fined.
Take what drone? I'm flying my drone way down there. You're not finding nothing. Type of thing.
They'll take the remote or it'll just get along.
Yeah. I can imagine because I know that it's tight. Like flying anywhere near airports, you're not allowed to do that.
You can't. You can get 5 years for that.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years just for flying, because obviously you're messing. Remember, you're flying. It's classed as a vehicle, but remember, you're not dealing with vehicles that's on the ground. You're in the air. Aviation. So let's say if you crash into a helicopter or a plane, you can cause deaths. You can cause major situations. So they take that mad seriously.
Yeah. You know, steeper still. It's steeper.
So I see you got your own little pillars that you're doing. So like you said, drone operator. You mentioned the personal development and stuff as well. So talk to me about that. Because we all know the audience know you're a serious individual.
Let me just say something quickly now, I said this on the episode before. Cozart's the reason why I started reading books. Yeah?
Strong.
Like big man thing before that, it was a thing where I ain't reading no book, I ain't picking up no book. When I'm seeing Cozart post these things on his story, I'm thinking, no way is bro this smart. Like bro is proper smart. Like let me start reading too, because I need to be on his wave. Do you get me? So now, big up for that for real.
To touch into that, man.
Personal development.
Yeah.
The way I started, I wanted to get better as an individual. I started realizing that my life was absolutely terrible. But it all started with self-awareness, I'd say, because I started looking at myself thinking, okay, cool, so-and-so is happening. Surely I can do something to change this. What can I do right now to change my situation? What can I do right now to make things better for myself? And personal development was the answer. And the whole thing about the whole thing about personal development is basically you just getting better as a person, if that makes sense. If you're rubbish in this area, you want to move this area forward. If you're rubbish in this area, you want to move this area forward. It's just everything about you just going to the next level, just elevating.
Do you know what I rate as well? Because a lot of people in a position that you was would blame other people. Do you get what I mean? And I feel like that's the way for you to always lose when you blame other people, because then you take the power out of your hands. You put the power in your hands and said, all right, cool, I'm in this situation now, but I'm responsible for getting myself out of the situation, even if I didn't cause the situation. You get me?
But that's the thing, because I used to blame people, but it's only so far blaming people can bring you, because you can sit in your room all day and say, oh, it's so-and-so's fault, it's my job's fault, it's my manager's fault, it's my mum's fault, dad's fault, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're still going to be in your bedroom doing that every single day. And it's like, okay, cool, surely something has to change. How can I change something? That's the questions you need to start asking yourself. Like, how can I do something about it? Do you know what I'm saying?
And I even feel like, going back on what you said just a few moments ago about like, the key takeaway for me is what you said, self-awareness. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like for any individual across the board with anything you want to do, self-awareness is so key, because one, you need to know the impacts that, because like you said, it's all good for me to blame others. I could blame Tay, I could blame you, for example. Like, but what about the impact I'm having on you guys, which is affecting things that are in my control? Does that make sense? So it's like, you need to hold yourself accountable. You need to be self-aware to say, you know what, my life is not where I want it to be. I'm not gonna say shit. My life may not be where I want it to be because of me. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I can sit here and blame my mom, my dad, whoever, however, yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm always gonna be in the center of that. So let me just look at myself.
It comes down to this: even if it wasn't your fault that you're in the position that you are, it's your responsibility to get yourself out of it. No one's gonna come into your life and change your circumstances. Do you get what I mean? So
the thing is as well with self accountability, it puts the power in your hands.
That's what I was saying.
When you blame other people and blame other situations, you're putting the power in their hands. What you're basically saying to yourself is that my life is controlled by these people. The only way I can change is if these guys change. But it's easier to change yourself than it is to change other people or other situations.
Easier. You can't change other people.
Yeah, exactly.
You actually can't.
You can't do it.
There's nothing you can say. There's nothing that you can do. If a person doesn't want to change, you can't change them, bro. It's just that simple. Do you get me?
Strong. Biggest quote that, whilst you lot was talking, I got a quote that my mum told me, I'm pretty sure we all heard, like, you can drag a horse to water, you can't force it to drink. You know what I mean? Like, I can tell you, bro, you need to do this, pattern up, but unless you don't want to do it, you don't want to change, nothing's going to happen.
And you know what it is? Like, I used to get frustrated about that. You know, like when I'm trying to help someone, but they're not taking me in. I used to get mad frustrated, but it's a thing where there's no point even getting frustrated about it. Do you get me? When they want to make the change, they're going to make the change. And if they don't, they don't. Do you know what I mean?
That's one thing I've learned with this personal development thing. I tend to focus on the interested. Anyone that wants help, and I can help you, let me help you. But I'm not gonna go to someone that isn't self-accountable. They don't like to look at themselves in the mirror and ask themselves, what am I doing? How can I change something? When they're stuck in their own little bubble, I'm not gonna come to you. I'll tell you some things, but if you don't listen, it's not gonna affect me. But whereas someone that is interested and I tell you something and you don't listen, it's like, come on, bro, like, I'm trying to help you, you get what I'm saying?
Just to pause that before I carry on, you see the content we're dropping, subscribe, like, post notifications on, follow up all the socials, follow that shit, share that shit, because it's you're dropping a lot of gems here still, but carry on, my bro.
What was I saying?
You were saying about how, you can only help the interested.
Yeah, that's what I tend to do. I tend to focus on the interested, because when you focus on the interested, it's like, these lot will tell other people about you. Do you get what I mean? And when they tell more people about you, the more people you can help. And just by focusing on people that are interested, it just makes more sense. It saves you time. Do you get what I'm saying?
Touching on something that Austin said on the previous episode,
Shout out Austin.
You can't pull people. Do you get me? And I feel like pulling people would be to work with someone who's disinterested or not interested in what you're doing. When someone's interested in what you're doing, it's like, all right, cool. You're helping them, but they're also helping themselves. You can't help someone that can't help themselves. So it's good that you're just focusing on the people that's interested in this personal development thing.
Another thing as well, it's easier to help someone that's interested. And interested. It's easier to help them because they're actually listening to you. Do you get what I'm saying? They want the help. When you're focusing on someone that they're not really trying to listen to you, what you say to them goes through one ear and it comes out the other. Do you get what I'm saying? And you're just wasting your time. You don't want to do that.
Strong. And even going back onto your previous point about 5 minutes ago when you're talking about focus on the things that are in your control. Like, I've done this, I done this course at work, and it was about this personal development course, and it was talking about, there's a certain label, but I can't remember what the title was called, but it's basically two things that people like to stress about. You got a certain type of individual that focuses on things outside of their control, the weather, I don't know, what's going on in the public, what's going on in the news, for example, but those are things outside of your control. So why are you giving energy to things you can't change? And then you've got other set of people, like you're saying now, you definitely are one of those which would fit in this category, people who focus on things only in your circle of control, what you can change, your mindset, your situation, your finances, etc. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because that's what's within your parameters to have an influence on to change. Do you know what I mean? So I definitely resonate with that, man.
Strong. So what do you reckon that trigger point was then? That trigger point in you to say, all right, cool, I need to change my circumstances. Was it one scenario? Obviously it was the build up of different things that happened, but what was that one thing that ticked off in your head and said, all right, cool, I need to change this?
I'd say it was money, financial situation. Like throughout my whole life, a lot of people might agree with this for themselves, if you look back generations, and not even just generations, just your lifetime as a whole, the majority of the problems in most people's family is money.
Financial.
Money. When you ask for something, they don't have enough money to buy so-and-so. You might not have enough money to go buy trainers for a non-school uniform day for school. Remember, they used to charge £1 for
non-uniform.
Yeah. Sometimes you might not even have the pound coins, you know what I'm saying, or to pay for trips.
That real.
So as I started getting older, I'm more self-aware. But from young, I was always observant. So I started realizing that all of these problems, I'm having so many problems in my life, and it's all going down to this one thing. What's this one thing? Money. Okay, cool. Then I started thinking, okay, how can I make more money? Obviously, as a young kid, you start thinking of the illegal, but I'm not really an illegal guy. Like, it doesn't work for me. So I was thinking, okay, cool.
I like that, because that's self-awareness right there. I like that. Do you get what I mean? Because you have the self-awareness to say, listen, this life isn't for me. Do you get me? A lot of people try and force it.
Oh, definitely.
You need to understand, all right, cool, it's not for me. Let me find a different route.
I even tried it. There was a time I bought weed, and I was gonna sell it. But what I used to do, I used to sell in school. So I'll buy something from like Iceland, but sell it for more. So that's what I used to think you do. So what I did, I tried to buy weed and just sell it for more, but it didn't happen. But after I bought weed, 20 minutes later, police I was with my friend Ashley. Police stopped us, but because we said our age, I was like 15 at the time. 15 or 14, they didn't search us. But I was thinking, cool, you know what? That's when I said this life is not for me.
That was your sign right there.
The universe,
that was your
bro.
sign. Listen, God does that. God does that like a lot of times. I can say a lot of things that's happened in my life, God's warned me. Do you get me?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that was a warning.
That was a warning right there. And if you didn't listen to that warning, I'm telling you now, you would have felt it after. Do you get me?
That's what I'm
that was a
saying.
warning right there. So what, they didn't search you or nothing, yeah?
Nah, I didn't search because I was
But
young.
did you have it on you though?
Yeah, I had it. It was in my bag. It was
Yeah.
strong.
See what I mean? That's a warning right there.
But what I was saying, going back to what caused the personal development stage, I realized, cool, if I want to make a large amount of money, I need to get better as a person, because the current person I am is making no money. So in order for me to get better, when I do get better, I'm gonna make more money. Does that kind of make sense? So as I grow, my money's gonna grow. Just naturally. That's why I started.
Strong. So touching on something else now, like what we're here to talk about is documenting the journey. Like, is there any way that you've documented your journey from starting at that place where you felt lost, you didn't know what to do, up until this point? Is there any like documentation for you to look back and say, right, like I've came a long way from where I first started, as such?
What I do, I tend to do a lot of the time, I take snaps.
I was just about to say that.
Ty, you know about my snaps as well. We're gonna touch on that.
I take snaps because it's like, on Snapchat it has the date and everything, but like it's an actual picture or video, so you can look back and actually see where you were at that time. Like I have a video on my phone where I hold the camera up to the I hold the phone up in the air and I say, I have so and so amount of money in my account, but it's cool though, I'm gonna get it back, I'm gonna be doing 10 times better, what. I still got the video on my phone. I had about like 60 something P in my account, but I had done that because I knew, like, with this thing, you gotta be, your self-belief has to be almost delusional. So I was delusional to the point where I know for a fact I'm not gonna be here.
That can't.
And I got out of it.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to laugh at your circumstances as well.
I was laughing in the video. I'm smiling.
You have to keep that lightheartedness about life. Because if you don't, it's just too much stress.
If you don't,
it takes you into a mad
your
spiral.
mental health will go down.
I'm telling you now. But I've done the same thing. Like I've even showed Ty one of my videos as well when I'm just like in a low point in my life. I don't have no way of getting out of the situation. I just know that I'm gonna get out.
Exactly.
You get me? So I'm recording. I'm saying, all right, cool. Right now it's 2018. I'm working at this job. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Do you get me? And the reason I've done that is so in a year's time I can look back and see how my situation's changed. And it was mad. I was saying to Tyler as well, like, that video 2 years ago to where it is now, my life's changed. It's done a 360, like a whole complete spin. Do you get what I mean? Like it's mad. So that's why I feel like documenting the journey sick. What about you though?
For me, I would say, just before I even tap into me, what we can all kind of agree with here is that we use Snapchat as a vehicle to document our current stage of life.
That's why it's scary, because I'm seeing everyone's snaps getting deleted and blocked, and I'm thinking, if that ever happened to me, I've lost it.
It's long. But I've started doing that as well as a result of Tay. I'll be so real. Like when Tay, as he said a minute ago, he showed me a video of him like 2018, 2019, when he might not have been in his best self yet. He hadn't yet evolved into his best self yet. cool, but you progressed a lot since then. That showed to me, because it was a real eye opener for me, because it just goes to show that like when you document a journey, you can look back and not only just see the videos or the pictures, you can see the emotion from when you're talking 2 years ago, and you can see, like, you can feel it because it's you. Because it's you, it's a lot more personal. I'm not saying everyone now must go out there and take a 60-second video. Hi, I'm doing so and so right now there, but a single method that you use to document your journey. It's a process. Enjoy the process. So like, you could have taken, for example, 2 years ago, could have been at level 1. Now he might be on level 3. Do you know what I'm trying to say? He's documented that as a point of reference. So now when he does get to his level 10, whatever that might look like, he can look back to when he had nothing. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And for me, to answer your question, documenting the journey, I feel like there's two sides to it. You can use, let's just go run with the snap idea you guys said, to do that, which I have been doing like every couple weeks. So when like something mad happens in my life, I'll literally just sit there and just be like, listen, right now I've got this, that and the third. I've just filmed the first episode for the Energizer, for example. My life's looking like this right now. But on the other hand, even when you're just taking normal snaps that sit on your Snapchat, like just random memories, random flicks, or it could be on Instagram or even Twitter, you don't even realize that that's a subtle form of documentation.
100%.
If I was to go back to my old snap, for example, 2018, when I might have been in secondary school, I know what my life was like then. I know what kind of thoughts I was having and then time, even though if I was at a party with a man in my with a little Cozart bottle thinking I'm living it up, I know what was going on in my life at that moment. And now because I've documented and captured that memory, 3-4 years later now, to the man I am today, I can look back and be like, rah, I've really come a long way. That's the point that stands out to me about why you should document your journey.
Strong.
Another one thing I want to say as well, have self-belief in yourself when you are documenting, because the way the human brain works is that when you have faith in yourself and you believe that you can change your situation, your brain will start thinking of ways to change your situation. Strong. Whereas if you're documenting in a sense where you have no hope, you don't believe you can get out of your situation, your brain will start justifying and thinking, your brain will start to prove you right. So if you believe that you can't get out of the situation, you won't be able to get out of the situation. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes, 100% that makes sense. Like a video that's coming to my mind now, and I put it on my Snapchat. I circulate this like every couple of weeks, and it's a video from Mike Rashid. You know, I follow Mike Rashid, and literally it's a video of him saying, whatever you think, you're right. Like if you tell yourself you can't do something, you're right. If you tell yourself you can do something, you're right, because your mind will program and will be reprogrammed to believe the things that you tell it. If I tell my mind that I'm worthless, I'm nothing, I'm right. Do you know what I'm trying to say? 100%. If I tell my mind that I'm successful, I am a millionaire, even though I might not have the physical representation of that in my bank account right now, I'm right. Do you know what I'm trying to say? 100%. If I'm happy, I'm right. Do you know what I mean?
The person that wakes up in the morning and says that he's a loser is right. The person that wakes up in the morning and says they're a winner are also right. Do you get me? You choose your pick when you wake up in the morning type of thing.
I also believe that you create your reality. Just the way the human brain works is so powerful, because your human brain, it wants everything to be right. So whatever you say to yourself is right. And there's also a quote by, I can't remember his name, but you sent me the video. It says that people will never rise above the opinions of themselves. Proper gem. And now, if you believe that you are a loser, you're not gonna rise to be a winner, because your base opinion of yourself is you being a loser.
You're gonna keep hitting that ceiling.
You're just gonna keep hitting the ceiling.
You can't break that.
Exactly.
Do you get me?
It's a whole mental game.
Strong. Yeah. I know a lot of people deep that as well, like how powerful the human brain is. Do you get me?
So powerful.
Not a lot of people see that. Like you can really change your whole life just by
thinking differently.
Obviously the action needs to follow, but you changing your mindset and how you approach everything's about perspective at the end of the day. Do you get me? Two people can go through the same situation but have two different outcomes. Do you get me? Because it's all about perspective.
Facts.
You need to change your perspective, and that's one thing that you're in control of your perspective. Do you get me?
Facts. So, your circle of control to change.
100%.
So let's talk Growth Nation for a second, So before we even get onto the documentation side, what is Growth Nation?
Growth Nation, well, initially it was called Growth Daily, but I changed the name to Growth Nation because the word nation has like,
it's bigger than that,
a community sense. You know what I mean? Well, Growth Nation is a personal development blog page, but I'm gonna turn it into a wider platform.
A brand.
Yeah, a brand. To eventually start creating ebooks, guides, everything beyond a blog page. So I can reach more audiences eventually, speak to people, establish Growth Nation as a company, and so on and so on. But to summarize it, it's just a personal development blog page where I help people become the best version of themselves. I like to develop people socially, mentally, intellectually. I think I said emotionally. I don't know if I said emotionally.
No, you didn't.
But I like to develop people in all of those areas to help them to reach their highest potential in those areas, to overall improve their self-awareness and self-image. Does that make sense?
So let's even go a deep one now. In terms of Growth Nation, what is the main reason or fuel as to why you want to help people via Growth Nation? Because to me, putting the dots together, I may be wrong. You just said 10 minutes ago that there was a point when you was at your lowest, you know what I mean? And you looked in the mirror and said, right, I need to make a change. And that's when your personal development journey started. Now it's got to a point as you've evolved into the man that has definitely progressed since that point. Now you want to look back and bring others along with you on that journey. Do you know what I mean?
Me personally, like away from Growth Nation, I like to help people. I like to know that this person was able to do this and so because of me. But it's not even like an ego thing. I genuinely like to see people happy, especially when I know how I can change your situation. So why wouldn't I be helpful? Do you know what I mean? It would be selfish for me to know the information that could help you and not help you. So with Growth Nation, I like to almost attract the people that was once where I was, and because I've got myself out of that situation, I now know how to get you out of that situation.
Strong.
That's literally it.
Strong.
As Nipsey says, the highest human act is to inspire. Do you get me? And that's literally what you're doing. You're doing the highest human act there is. Touching on legacy as well, like once we all go, I always say this, bro, I don't know why I'm always thinking about death and legacy and whatnot, but once you once you do go though, your name's gonna live on though, because you help people in their own lives.
That's another thing as well. I want people to say that, like, Aaron helped me, like when I needed it and no one was trying to help me, I couldn't go to my parents, family members, because they didn't understand. Aaron understood me. Do you know what I mean? That gives me my real sense of success and fulfillment. Like, never mind money, cars, etc. That's all nice, but for someone to actually be affected positively because of me, that truly makes me happy. That's literally it.
Strong. So let's talk again back into Growth Nation, because it's a sick thing you're doing, bro. So man, even got a spot you there doing your thing, So let's talk Growth Nation, When it comes to the content you put out, do you consciously know when you're putting out the content that you're documenting that journey? Or do you just put out content? Does that make sense?
To an extent. I don't really see it as documenting per se, but it can also be looked that way, because I might write a blog on self-awareness right now, then 5 years from now I might write another blog on self-awareness, but this side and this side, there's a progress in the middle. So what I write in the last self-awareness blog might be completely different to the first one. Do you know what I mean? So to an extent, I see it as
you do and you don't.
It's a bit of both.
That's why I ask. It's interesting for me, because like I don't know about you, Tay, but for me, when it comes to the podcast, whenever I post a clip, I'm looking and I'm just, the first thing on my mind is raw. Like, man's really documenting the growth. Like, even little things like on the first episode, I didn't have no facial hair.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, even our voices sounded different. It hasn't even been that long, but our voices sounded different.
Bro, it's different.
It's documenting the journey. 100%. And I was saying like, in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, we're gonna look back and think, right, we was little youths spitting game like this. Do you get me? Even though we're not little youths, do you get me? Yeah, man.
Even looking back to the first episode of when we had our first guest, and like, I told Tay enough times, bro, I'm shitting myself. And I understand, like, I'm like, man's all cracking up in that, like this. Dropping gems.
I can't lie, you know what though? Like, I rate us because we held it down. Like, from the episode, it didn't look like we were scared, but I know we were both shook.
Listen, I need to take my hand of shit.
But here's the good thing. You guys both had self-belief. You guys believed in yourself individually. You believed in each other, and you believed in Energizer Pod as a brand. So that way you was able to go up. But let's say, for example, it was on the complete other side of the spectrum, where you lot had the first episode, you both looked at it and said, nah, this is not it. Then you continued the episodes thinking to yourself, oh, this is not it. Oh, I'm scared. This is rubbish.
Strong.
Your podcast wouldn't be where it is today.
Strong. 100%.
That's how powerful self-belief is. And obviously, when we can see that you guys both believe in yourself, we believe in you. You know what I'm saying?
I was just about to say that. How do you expect other people to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself?
You know what I'm saying?
Do you get me? I think I got that from Kanye, and I was going to wait until the next episode to touch on that. But it's like, Kanye has a big portrait in his house, in his front room, and then someone must have said to him, like, why do you have a big portrait of yourself in your own house? And he said, it's every day when I look at this picture, it's that I need to believe in myself before anyone can believe in me. Do you get me? That's the reason why he's got this big painting in his house. And I feel like, in your situation, no matter what situation you're in life, you need to install that self-esteem, that self-belief in yourself, and then it's going to start pouring out into other people. Do you get me? Like, I know, like, if I'm confident within myself, people are gonna start looking at me like I am confident. Do you get me? Like it starts within you, type of thing.
Can't lie, bro. Dropping gems, we gotta put the brakes on that because
yeah. We'll hold it down.
But back to the point about documentation, like self-belief, it's so strong because like you said, even though it might not have been on the forefront of both of our minds when when he did episode 1, first clip 1, do you know what I'm trying to say? YouTube something 1, do you know what I'm trying to say? There was a burning self-belief and self-confidence, as you said, that we would have had to have had in order for us to continue to do it. And that's why I love that's what I love about, like, right now I'm creating content for you guys watching right now because I'm documenting my journey. Like Tay said, even though we mentioned there's a joke like facial hair and whatnot, you look back and like the amount of growth we've both had to undergo in order for us to provide more gems on a consistent basis for you guys. That's a document. We've documented that journey. We've been able to enjoy that process, you know what I'm trying to say, from then until now. And then only the universe knows what's going to come in the next 6 months to a year, how far we'll be able to go from this point now to there. Do you know what I mean?
And I honestly believe that's where the true happiness comes from. Starting in one place, then however long down the line, looking back to where you once were to where you are right now. That little progress gap or big progress gap, that's what's gonna actually make you happy, because you're looking at yourself like, I used to be like that, but look at me now. It's gonna boost your ego. You're gonna have confidence within yourself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you know what that does as well? Even taking it somewhere else, away from you, it helps other people as well. Do you get me? Like, let's say someone who grew up in your area who knows you, they know where Cozart started. Now they see where Cozart's at. It's
They're
like,
gonna
cool.
think, I can do this now.
I was in the same boat as him. I went to the same school as him. Do you get me? So if he can do it, I can do it, type of thing. Do you get me?
Strong. And even doubling back on that as well, like the next point I wanted to touch on was the power of just visually seeing your growth. Like, do you know how inspirational it is for me to even see that? I keep saying a podcast, but it's just so true because that's what we're doing right now. Like, for me, it's so mad and like fulfilling for me to look back to the first episode we ever did, where we both was then. Because I know, even though I know I was dropping gems for 45 minutes and I was a bit nervous, hand to shake or whatever, I know where I was mentally. And you know what I'm trying to say? To know where I was then to where I'm at now, I love that. Do you know what I mean? Visually being able to see the growth. Or even a different example, forget the podcast, gym. You know, enough man, like, shout out your Jason, do you know what I'm trying to say? He's documenting his journey. Big him up, because
proper gym guy.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, he's documenting his journey. Like, even me, when I'm at the gym, I like to document my journey because I've got this one picture from when I was in college 3 years ago before I started any type of gym work and I was mager, mindset was just, it was very low. That was my low point, like how you said you had yours 20 minutes ago. So every time I document that gym routine, every time I document that little gym clip I might put on TikTok or something, I'm visually being able to see the growth. Do you know what I'm saying? And to me, that's the best thing. 100%. Like, it's just so fulfilling being able to do that.
Go on, bro.
I was gonna say, I was even watching a video on TikTok of Andrew Tate. He was basically saying that with him and his brother Tristan, their true happiness comes from them documenting the journey from where they were sharing noodles to them living in a mansion together. So that's why I just feel that documentation is just so important for your mental health as well.
100%. Something that I done with trendset and all that. Obviously, running a business, there's certain times you're gonna go through certain L's, trials and tribulations. What I like to do, I like to track those L's that I take. So I remember one time specifically, like when I first started the brand, I can't lie, like it was my mum and my dad investing money into it, and I got to the point where I started making a bit of money. My mum and dad said they're not doing it no more. You got to invest in your own dreams, innit? So boom, went out there, put my own money in to get some. I think it was jumpers, to get some jumpers made. Ordered these jumpers now. They come out. The prints faded before I even put it on. Do you get me? I spent my own money. The prints already faded. I can't even sell these jumpers now. I'll see if I can get the clip and put it in the podcast, innit? But it's like, I documented that journey and I said, listen, I'm at this place now. I've got 15 jumpers here that I'll mash up, but I can't wait till I've got 500 jumpers and the quality is the highest quality it can be. Do you get me? Like, those are the things that I like to do. And now when I look back at those 15 jumpers, it's like, I've came a long way. Do you get me? Now I'm ordering 200, 300 pieces. Do you get me?
Definitely.
And it's
and because of that, you're going to inspire someone that wants to start a clothing line. And their early trials and tribulations, because they've seen that Tay from Trendsetter was able to overcome these things, they're going to be thinking to themselves, oh, this is a minor, I can do this. You know what I'm saying?
100%. And you know something else that I'm doing as well? Shout out Daniel. He's my behind the scenes guy, So you lot probably seen the videos, every photo shoot, video shoot, I've got Daniel there and we're filming the behind the scenes. You get me? That's documenting the process as well, documenting the journey. Like, how does a Trendsetter photo shoot go? Like, what's the models looking like? Rare. I do these things here so I can look 10 years down the line and think, I've came a long way. Do you get me? So you guys tap in with that as well.
Also doubling back on that, right now, I think it was last couple episodes back with Austin, again, shout out yourself, man. I was talking about the book, Gary V. his book Crushing It that I'm reading at the moment, and again, everyone watching and you guys as well. Again, I'm saying it. That's how you know it's a serious book.
I'm gonna read that book still. I'm gonna get that book.
And then talks about social media, personal branding, and like why you should just go out and create content. And Gary Vee said himself that the beauty of documentation is that you can just look back to the old days, look back to when you had no clients, look back to when you had your first drop, whatever you want to call it, your first batch of clothing, and it was shit. The things were fading before you can get it out, and now look at what you're wearing now, my bro. You come a long way since then. You know, you look good now. You get me? For that. You know what I'm saying? It's strong, man.
Yeah, it's facts. It's fact. Like even this, I'd call that as documenting the journey as well. Like me wearing it, because I remember there was a time where I was wishing, praying that I could make tracksuits like this type of thing. Do you get me? Now I'm wearing it, and it's mad. Do you get me?
Progress.
It's progress, definitely. Progress.
100%. So on the way out, I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. We like to drop a little gem as always. So go on, man. What's your gem for the day?
My gem for the day. Find your purpose, because you can, but it makes reaching your goals a lot easier when you have a purpose, when you know the end goal. What am I working towards? Why am I working towards this thing? And that will make everything so much easier, because try to drive from your house to Manchester with no sat nav and you've never been to Manchester before. You're gonna get lost, or you might get there, but it's gonna take you longer than it was supposed to. Whereas when you know the destination and you plan the route, and you know why you're going there, it makes life 10 times easier.
Strong. How about you, my bro?
A gem that I leave them, I'll just say show up for yourself, innit? Show up for yourself. If no one shows up for you, show up for yourself.
Then people show up for you.
Do you get me? And how you do that is just like, on your down days, remember why you started in the first place. I feel like sometimes in your journey to success, you get hit with certain trials, tribulations, setbacks, and it's like you forget why you started in the first place. You get me? But remind yourself, I started this for me to be great. So I'm not gonna let this little L that gets in the way to stop me from my greatness type of thing. Do you get me?
You know why it makes everything so much better.
For me, what would I say? I would say post your content, man. And I would say that it's really that real, like just short and simple. Post your content. Like we're in the world of content right now. Content is in itself is a form of currency. Do you know what I mean? Like not only is there benefits to you putting yourself out there, but it's also another form of documenting your journey. So whatever it is you want to do, just by you taking a young video and then doing a next checkup 6 months later, documenting that journey and putting out good content, people are going to want to tap in with you based off of the content that you provide. So yeah, man.
Don't worry about the views. The views is not that deep. Just push the content, because the great thing about that is you could have 100 videos and they all get like 10 views, but on the 101, if that's even a thing, that video there might get 1 million views. Then because you've got a catalogue to back up this one video, people will start messing with you more, because it's like, it's not like this video is this person's first video. They've got a whole catalogue. They've been doing this.
He's been in the game.
Yeah, man.
100%.
No, 100%.
Strong.